Joining me now is a one Richard Ojeda, and we're going to discuss crazy stuff going on in West Virginia. Richard, welcome back to the program.
Hey, what's going on, Cenk? Thanks for having me back.
No problem. So, first of all, you were the first one to point out to me, at least, that there was a poster of Ilhan Omar next to the 9/11 bombings of the World Trade Center, and it was in an area sanctioned by the Republicans in West Virginia, and the poster said you wouldn't forget, but you have forgotten, and showed Ilhan Omar as a congresswoman. So before we get to Mike Caputo and what might happen to the Democrats who were not happy about that poster, and the great, I want to talk about an injustice. Anyway, before we get to that, I want to first understand, how is that area connected with the Republican Party? Like, are they the ones that allow for permits there? Not allow for permits? What did that woman who had that racist poster have to do with the Republicans?
Well, every single day during the session, every day has a theme, and that day was West Virginia GOP Day. So everything that was out there on display was approved by the Republican Party. And the thing is that all the Republicans had walked past these displays and never said a thing about it. And when a Democrat walks by it and sees it and becomes infuriated with it, obviously, it's no big deal to the Republican Party and the members in the state of West Virginia. And the sad thing is it's a double standard that we have. And I will tell you that this double standard is blatantly obvious to everybody out there. We recently had a Republican delegate show up to a committee meeting drunk, and other Republican members actually escorted this person out. And there's also talk that this exact same delegate has also said very sexual, inappropriate comments to a female staffer. We have last year a Republican delegate who had given his swipe card and to a coal lobbyist who had carried it for a long time, had always used it to get in and out of our Capitol. That's a security breach, because he didn't think that lobbyist should have to get in line like everybody else and go through the security checks. And then, of course, now we have, Republican Porterfield, who refers to everybody in the LGBTQ community as basically being the same as the KKK. And nothing has been done. Nothing is being done about any of this. But yet, you have a Democrat that becomes infuriated because he sees this garbage and he knows that garbage was approved. So he kicks in the door, and yes, he's apologized. The door hit a student. The student come out of it with the bruise, but the Republicans not only removed him from his committee assignments, but now they're even wanting to do more, with one Republican saying that he's going to have every bill read in its entirety because he's mad because nothing more has been done. But how come nothing has ever been done with these other Republican delegates who have done what they've done? I can tell you that as a senator, last year, we almost had a brawl on the Senate floor because a Republican senator said "F you, MFer" to another senator. And once again, nothing has ever been done. No one gets disciplined unless you're a Democrat right now in the state of West Virginia.
So I want to give a little bit more context here. So Richard not only ran for Congress, and we covered him a lot during that campaign, briefly ran for president, but also was a state senator in West Virginia. So he knows all about this, and he knows the history of it, et cetera. And so, I didn't know that it was Republican Day. So it's hard to say it's not connected to the Republicans if it was on Republican Day. Okay, in the State House. And so, I want to get this right. Did any Republican get sanctioned for allowing that poster and that hate speech on that day inside the State House, or no one got punished for that at all?
Not at all, but once again, it doesn't surprise me. The chairwoman of the Republican Party, Melody Potter, is the one who basically said that my military retirement is a government handout. And she's also photographed with that exact same woman that had that display up, where previously she had been at an event with that woman and actually photographed with her. So it's a double standard. It's blatantly obvious, and it's going to continue that way because they happen to be the powers that be. But it's not right for them to try to discipline Delegate Caputo, because he became infuriated because of the things that he had seen and the things that he had saw them walk past. Once again, like always, never walk past something that you know is wrong and fail to make comment, for if you do, you have accepted a lower standard. He wasn't going to accept that lower standard, but apparently the rest of them have no problem with it.
Yeah, so the government handout that you're getting, I believe, was what, for risking your life on, was it 12 different tours?
I've got multiple combat deployments under my belt. I've spent 24 years in the military. I've been in IEDs, VBIEDs. I've been in small arms fire, you name it. And I was a combat soldier. But of course, the thing is everybody loves the veteran until the veteran decides to come back home and stand up against the powers that be. And then it's villainize the veteran. I was swift boated, which is exactly what happened to me.
Yeah, and so they have no shame. Say they have the nice bumper stickers about support the troops, then you come back and you get payment for your service, and they go, oh, government handout. Oh, come on. And so it wasn't big government when they started the Iraq war, but it's big government when they actually pay you what they owe you. It's preposterous.
That's right, exactly.
But I want to get back to Caputo for a second. So what I did like out of this whole mess, though, Richard, is a lot of Democrats in West Virginia showed a lot of fight there. I thought maybe it was just you, but maybe there's something in the water in West Virginia where it was refreshing to see so many legislators in West Virginia say we're not going to accept bigotry against a Muslim American.
Absolutely. I could sit here and I could name off numerous legislators in West Virginia that are absolutely phenomenal. Mike Caputo is literally one of the most amazing leaders that we have in the state. Tim Miley, Sean Fluharty, Ed Evans. These are people that I work with. Bob Beach. Once again, I could just continue naming folks. And these are people that will stand up for what's right. The problem is that we've got far too many people, even on the Democrat side, that say, I can't go against this because if I do, they're going to attack me. You have no fear of being attacked if you are standing up for what is right. I have no problems being attacked if I'm standing up for what is right.
So now I want to circle all the way back around to Caputo one more time because I want clarity on this too. So he sees the poster, he's very upset. What happens next? I know that there's some yelling and then the door. What happened there, Richard?
Well, there was a female person that opens and closes the door. And apparently that female had actually stated, well, it's true, all Muslims are terrorists, which once again, that's unacceptable. I don't care who if you feel that way, then you are the most uneducated person that we have out there. And you should not be working in our state capitol. It was those things right there that absolutely infuriated him. He kicked the door open. And the thing is they're really trying to really, amplify it and make it seem like it's far worse. They've even so much as said that, well, it's a special needs child. Well, from what I'm hearing, the family is quite agitated about, their child being referred to as that. But once again, they're saying that he broke ribs. It's really a bruise, but once again, they're trying to villainize the Democrat because he stood up and he wasn't going to sit by and allow that to go on.
So what was the extent of his punishment so far?
Well, he was removed from his committee assignments. And once again, the Republicans were even wanting to do more. Like I'm assuming what they're trying to do is actually remove him as a delegate. And I believe that now they're kind of starting to realize that, we're not going to do that. But I still believe that as of right now, he has still been removed off of all of his committee assignments, which means that the people who elected him to be their voice no longer have him on a committee being able to speak. And that's, that's not the way that you discipline somebody. Don't take away their constituents' voice. If you want to discipline somebody, I don't care, make it a fine or something like that, make somebody give public apologies, but don't be removing people off of their assignments. And that seems to be what the Republican Party in West Virginia does. They've even done that to other Republicans that do not vote the way that they want. And that's exactly what they do. We had one Republican that challenged the Speaker of the House in the last session, and they removed him from all of his committee assignments.
So, Richard, it appears to me, I'm going to summarize here, that the people who did the bigotry, sanctioned the bigotry, approved the bigotry, got no consequences. The person who was upset about the bigotry was thoroughly punished.
Exactly. It's the double standard. And we see it every single day in West Virginia. And you know what? We're better than that. You know, we have a wonderful state. We have a lot to offer. But right now, you know, this is what we have right now in this state, and it's unacceptable.
Yeah. And
I mean, let me just tell you this. I want to say this real quick. Before the midterms, our governor stood on a stage and all of the Republicans got behind him. And he promised that if they were able to reelect those people standing behind him, they were going to give the teachers and school service personnel another 5% raise and give $100 million towards PEIA insurance. And let me tell you something, they got reelected. And the first thing they did was through charter schools, they threw union busting bills on top of it. And in the end, everything was killed, but also the pay raise and the $100 million for PEIA was killed. So the teachers got nothing. So once again, that's the thing. These people will use underhanded tactics to get where they are, and it's sad.
we can't accept that.
I cannot accept that.
Yes, and so I got to summarize here because we're out of time. But let me also note the hypocrisy of Donald Trump and the rest of the Republicans celebrating Montana Congressman Gianforte for body slamming a reporter, which was an assault, and saying that he's a tough guy. But Caputo knocks in the door because he's upset about bigotry, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's outrageous, and we got to sanction him." It never ends with Republicans on hypocrisy. And but I want to thank you for fighting back, and all the good folks in West Virginia who've got fellow Americans' backs on this, and it's deeply appreciated. So Richard, airborne.
Airborne. Thanks, Jake.